how can we help Ukraine? And you can help. We can help. We can actually do something to support the people of the Ukraine. This is not a political broadcast. This is a humanitarian broadcast as we explore the ways to actually help. And I welcome your input during this live broadcast in relation to Ukraine. And thank you for watching live. This is not my normal broadcast about live broadcasting. This is a special broadcast about how we can help Ukraine. And I should be on screen in a moment. We're actually going live today on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, I think. Okay, so let's hide that and come to me. Hello. This is a special broadcast. I did one last week. I'm doing one every week in relation to how we can help Ukraine. And this is, I mean, we see the television, we watch the stories, and we read the newspapers, and we see what's happening in Ukraine. And the question arises, what can we do that practically help the people of Ukraine? Now, Ukraine's engaged in a war that it didn't start. And there are, if I go here, and I go to here, this is the Metroville shopping centre, opened in 2020, and yesterday it was bombed out of existence. 8 people were killed, and this is just one small example of what is actually happening in the Ukraine at the moment. My sincere hope is that this broadcast continues, and I'm going to come up with some practical ways in which we can actually be of use and contribute. So it saddens me. It's beyond belief, because I've got to say that, first of all, welcome to the broadcast. And this is about supporting Ukraine. And I've got to put this at the bottom and go up here. The views expressed in this broadcast are mine, okay? And I take full responsibility for everything that's actually within this broadcast. Let's go to comments and stop that, and say hello to Corinda. And guys on YouTube, guys saying echo. Okay, thank you. I think I found the echo, and the echo should be fixed. Okay, and a Nightbot's kicked in. Right, okay. This is live broadcasting. Nothing goes perfectly. And say hello to Corinda, who said echo, and over to Guy. And Guy's saying much better. Right, and that's a warning from the bot. Okay, and Corinda, I don't know whether Corinda's going to be on topic at all. It's probably about his next show. Okay, let's hide all those. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Okay, and I'm going to start by taking myself off full screen and going here. And you can only hear one of me now. Okay, this is the Metroville shopping center in Kyiv, which was bombed by the Russians yesterday. It was built in 2020, and in a bombing raid on the outskirts of Kyiv city, this building was totally destroyed and 8 people died. This is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what is happening in the Ukraine. There are photographs that I'm not going to show. I'm just grateful to The Guardian, because the photographs are from The Guardian. But this photograph to me is symbolic that total destruction is taking place. And there is no rational explanation being given for why this is happening. And it saddens me that this should happen, that we should, or our governments are actually helping, but they're arming the Ukraine. And over to Corinda. 8 people were killed, Corinda, in that building. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. This is the tip of the iceberg. 8 people killed in that building, but literally thousands killed since this war started on February 24th. And it is a sacrifice of lives for ideologies. And Corinda, okay, just a minute. I wish I could. Right, okay. Corinda, can we have silence for the moment? Thank you. It is basically an intolerable situation for the people of the Ukraine who didn't ask for this war. This war came to them, was visited on them by Russia, and people are being killed. And there should be, it should not be happening. The governments of the world have constructed a set of rules which means that they can't intervene, other than by supplying arms and supplying aid. They have decided not, for reasons that NATO, the Ukraine is not part of NATO. NATO is not therefore bound to defend the country. That's an illogical constraint when people are actually being killed every single day. And all governments of the world could bring this war to a close. They have to. There has to be a truce. There has to be a time when the fighting stops. There are no winners. Everybody in Ukraine and Russia is losing at the moment. Citizens, normal people. I mean, you should only attack, according to the rules of war, and even war has rules, you should only attack military targets. That's not happening. Mariupol, 400,000 people are actually trapped in a city. And they've been trapped since the early days of the war. They have no electricity, they have no power, they have no water, and food supplies are running out. And the world sits back whilst this is taking place. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever for this war to actually continue. There should be a truce. And the people of Ukraine, my thoughts are with you. Now, this is particularly true for me because I have friends who I've known for many years who work for BeLive. The BeLive engineering team is based in Kyiv in Ukraine. And I've got to say that they're an amazing group of people. And they are keeping my broadcasts and every BeLive user's broadcasts going whilst they are caught up in a war. So for everybody who's watching this live and for everybody who watches the replay, we support you. And over to comment. March 21st, Reuters, there is no question of Ukraine giving up the city of Mariupol and laying down arms. Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister. Yeah. I think that the guy, there are no rights in a war. And the people of Mariupol, sorry, read that out. There's no question of Ukraine giving up the city of Mariupol and laying down arms. Ukraine's Deputy Minister, Irina Vereshchuk, said early on Monday. And I know that the Ukrainian government are of the one mind This is all about territory. This is a land grab, and people are suffering because of it. And I'm just saying that there should be a truce for everyone's sake. The sooner the truce begins, President Zelensky of Ukraine has approached President Putin for talks, and it's not happening at the moment. The sooner that happens, the sooner there will be a truce. It's a simple fact. Until the two figureheads of both countries actually talk, nothing can happen. Okay, so this is dedicated to the staff of BeLive who are working through, and thoughts are with you. Now, I'm going to hide that picture, and I'm going to hide that picture, and thank you to the Guardian, and you don't need two of me, so it's just me. Right, there are practical ways that we can actually help the people of the Ukraine, and there are two which are straightforward and easy to do. What you can do, there are two ways, there are three ways that you can actually just want to open a tab, and I've got the tab open. There are three ways in which you can help, at least practically do something, and everything that's done to help. So I'm going to share screen. Just let me share screen for a moment and go over to a tab. And I'm going to share that tab on screen, and I'm going to go picture in picture. This is the picture that's on my Facebook profile, and it's by Oksana in the Ukraine. And the first way that we can actually help people is by just simply search for Etsy Ukraine. Just a minute. Is in a bit of a rush getting ready for this broadcast. Okay, first of all, we had the sound problem, and then okay. Search for Etsy Ukraine, and you'll come across the artworks. This is by Oksana, and you can buy this artwork for your own personal use. And when you pay Oksana, then the money that she earns actually goes into the Ukrainian economy. And Etsy have waived all fees, so that basically you can buy any artifact from the Ukraine, from Etsy, and you are benefiting the people of the Ukraine and getting a small token in return. So this is the normal Etsy. They have given up on commissions. If you search in Google or your favorite search engine for Etsy and Ukraine, then you can make a difference by buying art. And this is, to my mind, a very practical way of doing things. I want to say thank you to Angelica, who brought this to my attention. And it's so easy to do, to make a small donation, to buy a print. And this print is evocative of the Ukraine. Okay. It is Ukraine. And I'm just going to hide that and come back to me. Okay, all the photographs I'm seeing at the moment are actually blue at the top and yellow at the bottom, which is the Ukrainian flag. And it is a good way to actually support the people of the Ukraine. Okay. All right. So you can search for Etsy and Ukraine, and you can discover artworks that you can download digitally to your hard drive and you're making a contribution to the artists, and the artists are making a contribution to the Ukrainian economy. And that's one positive thing that we can actually do. We can have artworks. Okay, so back to me. The second thing we can do, which is basically, again, Angelica told me about it, is that you can go on a virtual holiday. And okay, this is what I'm going to show you now. I'm going to screen share, and in a second it should come up. And okay, the second thing you can do practically to actually help the people of Ukraine is that you can, I'm going to bring this on screen, take myself off full screen, and I'm going to hide the digital art, and that puts us picture in picture. You can help the Ukraine by going on a virtual holiday. Okay, if you search for Airbnb and Ukraine, you'll go over to the Airbnb site and you can book a vacation that you will never take. And you can choose an apartment and you can have a virtual stay in that apartment. The funds go to the host of the apartment that you rent, and they then give it in its entirety to local charities. They can't have real visitors at the moment, so they are grateful to have virtual visitors. And I know friendships are springing up from people who've actually hired apartments in Ukraine via Airbnb, and Airbnb have actually waived the fees so that when you pay for an apartment in the Ukraine, you're actually, the fees that you pay are going directly to the host. And we'll go over to the site. You can see what you do is you check in a date. So I'm going to say that I'm going to go on April 9th to April 10th. It's for 2 people. Okay, and just search. After a second or two, it then brings back, just waiting for this to come through. It will in a second. Whilst it is, it go back to me. Basically, we've now got, if I go on the page, I've got a mystery here. It opened in a new tab. Just let me stop sharing for a moment. I'm back. Okay, so we're back to me. Just a minute. I need to share again. Just a second. I've got 2 Airbnb pages open, and I don't need that one. I don't need that one. I'm just going to screen share again, and this time I'm going to share the results of the search. And bring them up on screen. Right, so search for Airbnb Ukraine, put in your dates, and then you'll be given a list of apartments that you can actually have a virtual stay at. And you can see the rates of the apartment is basically your donation. Okay, so £150, £38, £28, £19. Yeah, you can visit any of those sites. Now, you can have a virtual stay in the Ukraine, and the money that you actually give goes to the host, and the host gives it to charity. That's the agreement. Airbnb have waived their fees, and this is an excellent way to actually support the people of Ukraine by hiring an Airbnb property, spending a virtual holiday, and sending the money over to the Ukraine via the Airbnb system, so the whole funds go direct to the host. Airbnb are not taking any margin whatsoever, and you can donate to Airbnb. Simply, donate to the properties on Airbnb. Simply search for Airbnb Ukraine, and you can help the people of Ukraine by doing that. Okay. And I think that the more people help, because basically Mariupol is a city of 400,000 people, totally cut off from electricity, water, and food. And the city is surrounded by troops, and people just cannot get away. And there are stories, which I'm not going to quote here. I just want the word to go out that we don't need to sit here and just watch and read. We can actually do something. My third share for this broadcast is to go over and share again. Just let me stop sharing. So just a final reminder, Airbnb, just search for Airbnb Ukraine. And previously I said, just search for Etsy in Ukraine. Both of those have actually waived their fees. Your funds are going directly to the people of Ukraine. Okay, just the views expressed in this broadcast are my own. I am but one person, but if you can help simply by sharing this broadcast and letting more people know how they can help, then that would be good. I want to thank Guy and Corinda for their comments as well, because the more comments there are on a post, the more people actually see it. And this is marketing, but for a cause. Okay, and I'm grateful to the staff at BeLive for continuing the service that we have at the moment. Okay, now the third thing I want to show you, I'm going to share screen again, is a URL that you can go to give direct help. Okay, and this is the website. I'm going to hide that. I'm going to hide that. I'm going to hide that. And go picture in picture. The website is called Help Ukraine Win, and in a moment I'll post a link to it. But this is a site designed so that you are told, well, you know the actions you can actually take. Okay, so I'm going to close that tab. And Help Ukraine Win. On the February 24th, 2022, Russia started a massive invasion of Ukraine, a European democracy of 44 million people. We are members of the Ukrainian tech community who have come together to help our community in time of need. We are fundraising to provide essential supplies to Ukrainian people who fight against the Russian aggression front line. Please donate what you can. So there's donation that you can make direct. Then in addition to that, there are companies that are actually supporting this. So Tumblr, Kyiv Post, WordPress, Redel, Reface, and Reply are all supporting this page. There are, on the page itself, there are more ways to donate. You can donate to Ukrainian army, to humanitarian assistance. You can donate cryptocurrency. You can donate to Ukrainian civil defense. And on the right-hand side, you can help Ukrainian refugees abroad by giving up part of your home to actually house refugees. And remember, 4 million people have left the Ukraine. 4 million, 10% of the population have left the Ukraine, women and children mainly, and they have had to leave their homes behind, go to a foreign country and pick up the pieces and hope that one day that they can go back to the Ukraine. I hope that too. We can help, and we can help in the following ways. If you are in one of the countries that 4 million people have gone to, you can help by providing jobs. You can follow the news feed with Ukraine on Telegram. You can follow the Sudomi news feed on Instagram. You can take part in protests around the globe, and there are many protests taking place around the globe. But that's actually opened in a new tab, so I'm going to come back here. So everything works as it should do. You can share this page on Facebook. You can share this page on Twitter. You can share this page on LinkedIn, and you can follow Stand with Ukraine on the Twitter list and on Facebook. You can follow this. Nearly there. If you want to stay informed, then on Facebook, follow Kyiv Post, the Kyiv Post, and that will keep you informed of what's going on. But if you go to this webpage, and this webpage is helpukraine.org, helpukrainewin.org. So I'm going to bring that in and bring it into my studio, and I'm going to add it. Okay, so if you visit this website, and I've posted it in the comments as well. There it is in the comments. If you visit that website, and it's gone onto Facebook and it's gone onto YouTube. If you're watching live or watching replay, I want to say thank you. Okay, we can support Ukraine in many different ways. We can obviously support them spiritually, but we can also support them practically. And I've given you 3 possible ways. There are probably hundreds of different ways to actually support. I'm so proud of my friend Nick Tad, who is currently out in the Ukraine and Poland, and he's actually delivering humanitarian aid to the people of Ukraine. So Nick, thank you. I don't know. I think normally at this time you just want to say to people, just stop. Why should millions of people be suffering in 2022? Why has this been inflicted on the people of Ukraine? Why? And on that note, I'd just like to thank you for actually watching this live broadcast. You can support the people of the Ukraine by going to Etsy. Just on Google, just search for Etsy Ukraine, and you can buy works of art or even real things, and the money that you pay goes direct to the artist involved, and they will pay it into the local economy. And you can book a virtual holiday on Airbnb, pay the host. Airbnb have waived their fees, just as Etsy have waived their fees, and your money will go directly into the Ukrainian economy. And then we looked at this webpage where there are practical ways for you to contribute your support to the people of the Ukraine. And I'm just going down and comments come in. And there's the link. I think the link is, yes, it is complete. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now. And thank you, BeLive. Let's go here. Thank you, BeLive, for providing facilities to actually deliver this message on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Bye for now.